I want to be a girl boss.
Aren't we kind of girl bosses? I mean, we're doing really good in life, and we have a whole podcast.
Well, I can tell you who the OG girl boss is. You should take total inspiration from her.
And who is that?
Persephone.
The god?
The goddess.
The goddess.
Yes, ma'am. The original girl boss. Changed her whole entire identity. We're about to get into it, ladies, in season 2, episode 2 of Diggin' Deeper. Welcome back to Diggin' Deeper. We are your hosts. I'm Blair.
I'm Alexis.
And I'm Jude.
And it is 2021, ladies.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, we've made it. It's this beautiful new year. I know it's already passed, but we're going to talk about it a little bit today. But it's our new year. New year, new me. I don't know.
Nice.
Let's go ahead with our weekly catch-up, shall we?
Yeah, sure. I'll go ahead and start us off. So, basically, I've just been preparing to go back to college. Starting to pack some things up, not very much, but I'm getting there.
Very much.
It's a work in progress.
Yeah, it's slow and steady.
Yeah, but other than that, I have an audition due in a few days, so I've been working on like the last little kinks of my many pieces that I have to perform. But hopefully, let's just keep our fingers crossed. No matter what, I'll get into a band, but I'm hoping to get into the one I wish for, so we'll see what happens with that. And then I signed up for my last class. I wasn't sure a few months ago if I was going to be able to do it or not, but I am. So my schedule's starting to work out a little bit.
Yay!
It's busy, but it's working out.
Isn't that good to hear? Yeah, that's all that matters. Mm-hmm. Once you get into college, it's all just about getting into the classes.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Fighting everybody for them.
Yeah.
It's really annoying.
You get your one set time to get into those classes, and if you don't do it, then you better start.
So screwed.
Yeah. You either got to start emailing teachers, or you just got to give it up.
Well, I know for
Make a choice.
For my class, it's like, it didn't even open up until, like, last week.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, why are you waiting so long to do that? Granted, I mean, you have to audition to even get into the class. So, I mean, at least I got one step done. But I wasn't sure if I was going to do it, and I told you guys about that in December, but I'm glad I was able to work it out.
Mm-hmm. That's really good. That's good.
Yeah. What about you, Alexis?
I have just been continuing what I've been doing, which is basically the same things, just work, chill with family. It's been pretty good. I've enjoyed this little break. I've been cooking a little bit more and just trying to, I've just honestly been trying to enjoy this break before we go back.
Yeah.
Because this new year is going to bring greatness or it's going to fall. It's not, it's something that's just going to have to be dealt with, and that's okay. But I did decide for this new season of Digging Deeper, I didn't want to do movies anymore. I wanted to focus on other things. So I decided to do shows, to recommend different shows that I've been watching and little things like that. And this week, I've been feeling really spooky. I've been in a very big true crime mood and everything like that. And I have been listening to BuzzFeed Unsolved.
Oh, yay!
Yeah, I think we all know what that is. And they have it on Hulu, and it's true crime. And there's also a supernatural one, which is also spectacular. But I'm more of someone who likes to hear facts and try and figure out it by itself, because they're unsolved. It's BuzzFeed Unsolved. So obviously there's not a true way things ended, but sometimes there's so many facts that you just scream at the TV and are like, no, the evidence is there. And other times you're just left and just guessing the randomest things, ghosts, aliens, poison, you never know. One of them I think ended in like witchcraft was like a huge thing. Mm-hmm. And it's very great. I do very much enjoy it. And that is my recommendation for season 2, episode 2, but I didn't do it for the last one. So my other recommendation is BuzzFeed Unsolved True Crime, but not true crime, supernatural.
Ah,
nice. Yeah, so I'm just put those two together. It's the same show. I didn't put it in the last episode. I decided it this week. There we go.
I didn't know those were on Hulu.
Yes, they are on Hulu, which makes me really excited because it starts out with like 4 or 5 minute ones, and then it gains to like 18-minute, and now they're into 30-minute episodes. And I will sit down and watch that. I watch it every night before I watch my other show that it's just Law and Order. I'm not gonna recommend Law and Order. That's such a basic show, but it's so good. But I always watch it and then Law and Order and then go to sleep, and I absolutely love it.
I'm not gonna lie, I would have a problem like watching like these true crime shows, especially the unsolved ones. I'm like, I hear a knock outside my window, don't know what it was, could have been the murderer, he might be out to get me.
For real.
Yeah,
I'm
even
not
just
spooked.
watching Criminal Minds, and that that was not realistic.
Yeah.
But even just watching that or too many episodes, I get all freaked out.
I don't spook real easy, so I love watching them, and I'll watch them all day. There's a podcast I'm listening to about things like that. It's just everything about true crime I absolutely adore, which is basic, I know, but it is very, very fun.
It's interesting for
Yeah.
sure.
Mm-hmm.
I love it Unsolved.
The
Unsolved
stuff
is my
that
favorite.
spooks me is the stuff that has actually happened.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
what spooks me up. But like supernatural stuff, that doesn't scare me as much as the unsolved stuff.
Unsolved is my favorite. I love
fun.
knowing
It's fun.
random
Yeah.
facts because you'll never know. We'll never know.
No.
Most cases,
I
we'll never know.
dislike that so much.
Even,
I hate not knowing things.
Yeah.
I hate
one
it.
of the episodes was the O.J. Simpson trial. And,
No.
and I know, and everybody talks about O.J. did it. But you listen to it, and every evidence points to O.J., and they're like, it's solved. And then at the end, little wrenches keep getting thrown into it and thrown into it and thrown into it. And then you're sitting there thinking, wait a minute, could it have been his son? Wait a minute, could it have been this person? And it's incredible. I love it. I love it so much.
That makes me think of Dave Chappelle in one of his stand-up comedies. He keeps calling OJ the juice. The juice, man. You'll never know if he did it or not, but it's the juice.
I mean, he probably did it.
I'm pretty sure he admitted it, because, like, I mean, you can't be tried for a crime twice for the same crime.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm pretty sure he did eventually admit it, but I don't remember.
He wrote a book about what he would have had to do if he did kill him, which was very weird. Because if I was on trial for a murder and everybody was like, all right, you got enough evidence, you didn't do it, then I'd come out with a book and just say, here's what I would have done if I was the killer.
I may have done that.
Yeah,
but
and you always see that on stupid little detective shows where they bring the criminal in and he's like, well, if I killed them, here is exactly what I would have done. And then they're like, there it is.
But see, they think that makes them innocent because they're like, oh, that didn't happen.
No.
But if I were to do it, that would have happened.
Yeah. That's my
crazy.
catch up. I know I took on a long, but I just love talking about
it's great. It's fine.
My weekly catch-up was this weekend. Me, my grandma, my cousin, and my brother, we went to the Greensboro Science Center.
Ooh.
And that is basically like this cute, it's so cute. It's a aquarium and a zoo. And
Wait, really?
yes, it's an aquarium, a zoo, like the outside's a zoo, so it's like a reptile zoo.
Mm-hmm.
And there were wolves and bears, but they weren't out because I think it was too cold for them or something like that. But they had real animals, all these pretty little fish and everything. And it was so fun just to go there with my grandma and have her walking around looking at everything.
That sounds
I
like
have
fun.
never heard of that. Is it
Yes.
outside or inside?
The zoo part, the big animals are outside. They had a red panda. They're
I
so
love
cute.
red
He was
pandas.
sleeping. He was so cute. Then in the reptiles, that's where they had, snakes, and they had chinchilla, a bunny,
I do love chinchillas
all
and
these
bunnies.
cute little baby animals. I didn't know about it, but my cousin, she lives near there, so she was able to tell us about it, and I really enjoyed it.
You'll have to take us sometime.
Yes.
I was gonna say, I've never heard of this.
I highly recommend it. Anyone with like small children or just really wanting to go out, because it was really great because they have you go a specific way so that you stay away from everyone else. So it's not people like
Ooh.
circling back and getting in your personal bubble. And of course you wear your mask, you stay safe, and it's still just a fun thing to do.
That's
Yeah,
really
I'm
cool.
looking at images of this now. People are getting married here.
Really?
Yeah, this is really cool. There's a wicked plant exhibit. Did
Yes.
you see that?
No, we didn't get to go through that one.
Oh, I would have gone through the plant. I love plants. They're
This
so
is
pretty.
crazy.
It's really nice.
Yeah.
Especially for the science part of it. I feel like you two would really enjoy it.
How have we not heard of this?
I don't know.
In Greensboro.
Yes.
Wow.
I'll be danged.
There's this specific little, a coral, I think it was.
Uh-huh.
It was called a strawberry coral.
Oh, I've heard
And it was so cute. It was just little pink and red flowers all over the little coral. And they looked like, it's like a strawberry, but before it blooms into a
Aw,
strawberry. You know what
that's
I mean?
awesome.
Aw.
Like, that's what it
Yeah.
looked like. It was so cute.
That does sound nice.
Yeah.
Of course, they don't have giant animals and fish, but they did have like baby sharks. They had the sea stuff.
You
You
just
know,
got the Baby Shark song stuck in my head.
baby shark doo 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 doo, baby shark doo 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 doo, and now everyone listening has it as well.
Aw, so great. But we should probably start talking about episode 2. Yeah?
Let's dig on deeper into this
Yeah.
next subject, which is the legend of Persephone.
Ooh.
Ooh.
Alright, Blair, tell us all about Persephone.
So, Persephone. We all know her. We all love her. The ultimate girl boss of Greek mythology, if I do say so myself.
Cue the applause.
Cue the applause. All of the applause. Persephone was the daughter of Zeus. You
Okay.
know, big shocker there. Zeus literally have so many kids.
So many. I just don't even know how many anymore.
And let's not forget where Zeus originated.
Okay, Uranus.
My man's just needs some of the respect.
He has no respect from me.
Yeah.
Give
So-
him his respect.
Daughter of Zeus and Demeter. She is the wife of Hades and the queen of the underworld.
Dun dun dun.
I mean, I would think that's the best job. Honestly.
Yeah.
Like, half the time she's goddess of spring. Then she's the queen of the underworld. I mean, she's still both of those
That's
at the
kind
same
of like
time. Yeah.
That's a little weird. A little contradiction there. You know,
It really
spring is about
is.
rebirth, and then the
Mhm.
underworld, everything's dead.
Yeah.
It's a little weird.
And honestly, I read this one fun fact where it said you would think that Hades would give the worst punishments,
Mhm.
but it turns out Persephone literally did not play. If you came down there, you were getting punished to the full extent.
Wow.
Yeah. Where they said,
Persephone.
yeah, they say, oh, Hades, you know, he's more lenient. He's thousands of years old. He doesn't really care about mortal souls that much. But Persephone gets down there and she's like, oh, you did this? Okay, you're going to the dungeon and, you know, having your
What
feet
happens
in.
in the dungeon stays in the dungeon.
Yeah. You gonna be dead either way. I mean, you're already dead, but you gonna wish you were still even more dead. You know what I mean? I don't know how to explain this, but it's
I'm
scary.
dead. I wish I was more dead.
Yeah, I wish there was no afterlife. I wish it was just done. That's what
yeah,
you'd
yeah.
wish when you get down there. So, Persephone, I did say she was the goddess of spring, but she's also the goddess of fertility. And she resides over the underworld with her lovely husband, Hades.
Lovely.
Hades. I love Hades. He's the best husband out of all them gods and goddesses, in my opinion.
Hades?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Hades and also, what's his name? Do y'all know the name of the one that was with Aphrodite?
Uranus.
No.
You mean her father?
No, her husband. Aphrodite's husband that she was forced to marry.
Oh my gosh.
The blacksmith guy.
I can't
Hang on,
remember his
hang
name.
on.
I'm sorry.
I'm looking it up right now.
Well, he is the other best husband because he just put up with that lady. Which, I mean, it's Aphrodite who
Put
wouldn't,
respect on
but-
her name.
Hephaestus.
I'm not gonna respect Persephone.
Hephaestus.
Yes, him. He and Hades, top of my list for Greek husbands. Okay, now I got that little rant out of the way, let's move on. So, she was literally the goddess of life and death. As she should be. Am I right?
As she should be.
Am I right? People used to belittle her and call her small or fragile. Her name even meant the girl or the maiden. Because her name before Persephone was Kore. That's
Kore.
what Demeter named her. Yes, Kore. Kore.
He literally named her girl.
Yes.
Okay.
The girl, the maiden. She was supposedly this sweet, innocent young girl. You know, she was not allowed to do basically anything. Her mom, Demeter, was so controlling. She would not let her out of her sight. She was only allowed to do her spring job. And even back then, it was spring and summer all the time. Because
It just switched between spring and summer.
yes.
God, it's spring again.
Like, it was even there. They say that there were not as many seasons as there were before Persephone went to the underworld.
Oh.
Because even Demeter is the goddess of harvest. So yeah, there'd be a fall, but they'd never die. So really, actually, there wasn't like a winter.
Okay, that's fair. Yeah, I'm good with that. And I always hated whenever people name their kids something that means who they are.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're named this, I'm sorry. But, like, her name meant girl. I saw
Yes.
something, and it was a Christmas movie, and it was about Snow White, but it's a modern version. And they named her Blanca, which in Spanish is white. So, Snow White, I hated it. I hated every second of it, because that was the whole point of it. And people are like, I hate it. I hate it. First of all, I hate that they named her girl. I hate it.
Yes.
My dad named his cat.
I hate it.
I mean, can you imagine being her and being called Core all your life, being belittled basically every time someone calls your name, and then on top of all that, having your mom be always constantly looking at you over her shoulder and being that protective of you?
Yeah.
She would barely let her out of her sights. And honestly, I mean, I'm not going to say like she had a right, but the one time that she did let her out of her sights, she went to the Underworld, so.
If you're going to act out, go far.
Yeah.
If you're going to go hard.
I support.
Yeah. Let me explain the myth that we know of Persephone.
Okay.
One day, right, she's playing in a field, she's with her friends, they're nymphs. There are actually some variations of this myth that says she wasn't just dancing and playing in the field with the nymphs. She was actually playing with other goddesses, which were Athena, Artemis, and some say Aphrodite. I just like there's two different versions of that, because no one actually knows, I guess.
Would it maybe be because they're Greek gods?
Yeah, maybe.
And maybe not real people?
Okay, maybe.
Wow.
Fine.
I wanted to put it out there. No one saw. No, of course no one saw.
Someone could have saw.
There were no witnesses.
Do you guys think that maybe like the Greek gods and goddesses are like based off of people, like actual people?
They
Not like
could
with the
have
whole
been.
power thing, but I don't know, just personalities and everything.
Well, like the Battle of Troy, half of those things are real people. They could have just, emphasized a little bit of stuff and expanded on some truths.
Maybe. I don't know. We'll never know.
The world may never know.
I love that commercial.
Anyways, while they're all playing, having a good time and whatnot, Persephone hears this rumble, right? Mm-hmm. Okay? She's off. She's looking for another flower. She got separated from the group.
Of course.
Yeah. You see this picture I'm painting?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
So then she hears this rumble in the ground. It's like a storm is happening. The ground is shaking. It's an earthquake. No one knows what's happening. She turns, and there she sees Hades leaving the underworld from a tunnel, which is basically on the very top. It goes all the way down, and it leads to the underworld.
Mm-hmm.
This giant cave system, almost. And a lot of people have really different versions of this part of the story as well, because many know it as saying, well, Hades kidnapped her. That's what happened. That's what he did. He's a bad person. He kidnapped her. She has Stockholm Syndrome. Right.
And is this another version of the story, or is this just what people said?
This is what most people said, but there is another version of this story.
There's always some kind of difference.
This is the one that I like the most, that I feel makes her start to become a girl boss, you might say. Yes. She was not kidnapped. No. This girl was a curious thing, right? Mm-hmm. She was looking for a way out from her mother. And so she saw the god of the underworld come onto the surface, look around, do what he does, and then go back down. And she thought, you know what? I'm going to follow him.
All right.
Yeah.
And I think that's what really happened. That's what some parts of these myths say, that some people believe, is that she saw him going down there and just felt like going down to the underworld. She didn't know where it was going, but she was curious. She wanted to find out.
You know what they say, curiosity killed the cat.
Or makes you into a queen.
Fair enough.
I mean, if you're the one that's been basically taken by your mother and she not let you out and everything, then this man pops up before you and he's like, hey, I'm the ruler of the underworld. You know where your mom isn't? The underworld. I mean, that's sold for me.
Yeah.
I'm going with him.
And obviously she thought he was cute. He's a god. She's like, I'm not dumb. So going to the underworld, it looks like I am.
I don't blame her. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I go with that story. I'm good with that.
So then everything follows as most know. She falls in love. which is what I think happens. You know, they get to know each other. He's like, what are you doing down here? You're not supposed to be here, all this and that.
Like how he's worried about it now. He's
Yeah.
like, okay, now that I've gotten to know her, what's she doing out here?
Yeah, like, what's going on?
Wait a minute, this is kind of young.
Because Demeter throws a hissy fit. This lady searches far and wide. She's looking everywhere for her daughter. She's got these nymphs out saying, okay, you were with her. You should have known where she's at. Where's she going? No one
snitch.
knew. No.
Yeah.
Nobody knew where she went. She walked away from the group. It's not really their fault.
Shout out to the nymphs. They
Shout out to them. But finally, Demeter finds someone that will help her.
Who's snitching? I say it's Aphrodite.
It's not.
Oh.
Which is, it's really strange,
Artemis?
but it's not. So, she actually found out from the sun god. But,
Apollo?
no, it was before he relinquished power to Apollo. I'm pretty sure his name was Hecate. Hecate. It's either Hecate or Helios.
Oh yeah, Helios. I've heard that one. I haven't
I've
heard the
heard
other
that
one. I'm
one.
sorry.
Yes.
I've heard both of them. That's pretty cool.
He was the original puller of the sun, that he would pull the sun, and he's the one that actually started the rumor that Hades abducted Persephone. Because that's what he told Demeter. He was like, because he, you know, when you're up there at the sun, he can see all. He said, I saw her. She was being dragged into the underworld by Hades. And Demeter did not like that. She was so furious that her precious little daughter got dragged into the underworld by this scary, almost like demon god, Hades.
Yeah, I'm not seeing a problem here yet. I mean, Helios. I see a problem there. No shout out to him.
Yeah, he snitched. How dare he?
Shout out to the nymphs. Not to Helios. But I can see why she'd be mad. I mean, if you're a mom and you're trying to keep a close eye and then your daughter's just gone, you're going to be freaked out. Yeah, fair enough. If I was a mom, I would probably scour the earth.
It'd be like that, you know?
It do.
And because Helios, you know, such a nice guy, he said, I'll give you a bit of my flame from the sun, and we will go into the underworld and search for her, me and you.
Why do they need flame to go into the underworld?
Because she can't see. Yeah, it's dark.
How do you know? The flames.
That's what they said.
I don't know.
That's
That's what I read. That's what my sources said.
Okay.
That's where we're at.
Yeah.
So, you might be thinking, did she not have a plan before running down into the underworld to just, she thinks that she can fight
I didn't think
the
that
god
at all.
of the underworld on her own? You didn't?
No, I just assumed she was gonna go down there and literally raise hell.
Yeah.
Literally.
Yeah.
Like, by the definition of what the underworld is, that's literally what she was gonna do.
Yes. And she did, even on Earth. But she tried to get help from Zeus.
Oh.
Uh-huh.
Zeus don't give a crap.
Yeah, we see where this is going.
Wait, but Zeus is her father, right?
Yeah, but he doesn't care.
Yeah,
Okay,
Zeus has so
yeah.
many kids, he's just like, I'm not keeping track.
Fair enough.
Because Zeus sees this as a way to help out Hades. And of course, Hades thinks Persephone is pretty. There's this whole other myth about the god Eros, who is Aphrodite's son, basically the kind of model for Cupid, about how he wanted to play a prank and he shot arrows at every bachelor in the Greek god realm so that they would fall in love with Persephone once she turned of age.
Oh, yeah.
So there's that. So yes, Hades was hit by an arrow. I don't know if that still complies with the story or not, but he was. And he loved her. He thought she was beautiful. So he told Zeus, I mean, I'd like to keep her.
Hey, you know what? Can I just keep her for a little while longer?
Yeah. I mean,
Well, if Hades and Zeus did have, like, a complex relationship, then maybe, like, she was a way to kind of put a bridge between them
yes.
and that trouble.
And that made Demeter furious. She was so mad that Zeus chose Hades' happiness over her protecting her daughter.
I bet she would.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I would be mad, too.
And next, that moves into, well, why is Persephone in the underworld? Because normally, now we know that she stays there for 6 months, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
This is due to the fact that while she was down there and her mom's there, they're trying to make her leave. They're getting everything ready. She's like, okay, Demeter's saying to Persephone, you have to leave. You're coming with me right now. Mm-hmm. Turns out, Hades gave Persephone a fruit. It was a...
Interesting. I thought this was going to be a lot. The way you were leading this on, I was like,
I'm leading it on. We're going on, okay? Mm-hmm. So if you eat something in the underworld, you have to stay.
Oh.
No matter if you're a god, a goddess,
really?
if you're a human, if you eat anything in the underworld, you're there for life.
I did not know that.
That's what ties you to the underworld is food.
Yes.
That, of all things they could have said, branded,
food.
Killed,
anything you
food.
eat, you're there. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. All right.
I guess I can believe it.
Whoever wrote this one, I want to speak with them. I want to know,
why they were thinking this.
Yeah, where did this one come from?
So, this girl, she goes to this feast table. She knows. She has to know. Somebody must have told her in her life, if you eat something in the underworld, you're going to stay there. I don't know if she was naive. I don't want to say that because
she might have known what she was doing. Maybe she wanted to stay.
Yeah.
I guess that would be up to your interpretation. Does your story say one way or another, or does it all just kind of leave up to...
It said, the one that I read, which I don't know for sure, it says that Zeus might have given her the pomegranate. Just to see what she would do.
Hey.
Yeah. Of course she's going to eat it.
Hey, what you going to do with this?
But that was his way of making peace between Hades and Demeter by saying, well, she will make her own choice about what she does.
What mom is...
I still wouldn't have accepted
yeah.
that. But, so she has this pomegranate, and the pomegranate has 12 seeds, and she eats 6 of them. Now,
very specific.
Okay.
You see where I'm circling around from?
Yeah.
This shows that the 6 seeds that she ate stand for 6 months out of the year. Out of 12 seeds. Yeah, see?
I got you.
It all makes sense in the noggin.
Took a second, but I got you.
Yes.
Does she serve her 12 months consecutively or every other?
It is 6 months out of a year, she is in the underworld. The other 6, she is on the above world with Demeter.
So she does 6 months, like one after the other, right?
Yeah.
I thought if you ate at all, you had to be stuck in there. But the fact she didn't eat it all means she's only there for half a year?
Yes. The fact she only ate half of the seeds, then Zeus said, okay, you will spend half of your time in the underworld and half of it in the above world.
Okay. You know they thought she was genius for that.
Yeah.
They pulled out them seeds and she was like, what is she doing? She's being weird. And then she ate 6 and then she was like, I'm done. And they were like, wait a minute. Wait a minute.
There's only 3 of them left.
Wait a minute. I mean, that makes sense too. That was smart on her.
Look at her go.
Go Persephone.
I told
she's
you.
my favorite.
Girl boss.
Shout out to Persephone.
So here she is. Zeus made this new decree. Demeter's still mad about it, but of course you can't tell Zeus no.
No.
He's not just the god of thunder, the world, whatever. He's the god of all the other gods. So she has to say, okay. This is where the Greeks say that seasons are coming from. They say that the 6 months that Persephone is in the underworld, it is when Demeter is... First, she starts out fine. She's harvesting. That's the fall. Then she's mad. Everything's dead. The winter.
Wow.
Yeah.
Look at
Who
that.
does Demeter think she is? She calls winter.
I know.
Dang.
I did.
Pretty powerful.
Yeah. And this point that I was saving until now was when she was all angry and looking for Persephone, she caused like a whole hunger strike. This lady,
Dang.
Of course she did.
yeah, she did not grow anything. She was that angry.
Isn't there like a saying, if mom is angry, the house is angry?
Yeah.
This is literal version of that.
Yes.
This is, if mom is angry, and mama was angry. She said starve.
Yeah, Mama said no more food for you guys. Everyone had bad crops, all this. I do wonder if that's why the Greeks also started this legend, was to be like, okay, we had a 2-year starvation period.
Yeah.
Maybe that's why, because Demeter was mad.
And crops go bad. I mean, truly, seasons are not always great to you, and sometimes they're bad crops. And if one crop goes bad, typically a bushel goes, or so many of them do go in itself. I can see them saying, hey, there's a supernatural reason for this.
Yeah.
I believe it. Yeah, I go with it.
And now, this is where the best moment happens, in my opinion. After all this is decided, she's speaking with Hades, and they now decide that Kor's name will now be changed to Persephone. This is girl power at its highest, because her name went from literally being Kor, which means the maiden, the girl, oh, so sad, so little, to Persephone, which means bringer of destruction.
I disagree, though. She shouldn't be called bringer of destruction.
Why?
Her mom's the bringer of destruction. She didn't do that.
I mean, yeah.
And
Did she?
And she's like, has to do with like spring and summer and all that. Like, that's bringing life, not destruction.
But as I said before, like earlier, when she entered the Underworld and became queen, she became
that is true.
ruthless.
You know what? I take it back. I take it back.
I
Yeah.
just forgot about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's easier to focus on the good
Talk about
things.
personality disorder. This chick was...
Yes. Like, that's how you know she's Demeter's daughter, because she flipped a switch.
Yeah.
All
That's
them
crazy.
people, if they went to the Underworld, they were going to get punished fully, as she saw fit.
I love the name Persephone. Honestly, that's just that's a very pretty name. I see a
Yes.
very bright girl from it. If I didn't know it meant bringer of destruction, I see very bright colors, very pretty, very dainty. I could feel like I would have a sit down meal with Persephone, and she'd be like, "Hey, how are you?" And she'd bring me little gifts for being a host. And then I'd show up at her work, which is the Underworld, and then
It'd be a
she's
whole
just
new
killing
world.
everybody. I'd
Yes.
be like, "Oh my god,
I
Persephone!"
Basically, you
Yes.
only want to have lunch with her when she is not in the underworld.
Yeah. I think she was a sweet, loving girl when she was in the above world, spreading fertility and love and spring.
Yeah, she's sitting there hanging out with all the other goddesses like
Yeah.
Artemis and Athena and everything. And, you can't be that mean.
And even by her looks, if you follow our Instagram page, you can see we've been posting some photos of her as a statue that the ancient Greeks have depicted, and her in almost a mural kind of painting-esque piece. And she's very beautiful.
She is gorgeous.
I agree.
Yes.
The way they drew her, and if they don't like a Greek god, let's be honest, they'll make sure you know it. They draw them ugly, or they
Yes.
do like the weirdest statues of them in weird forms. And hers are always very beautiful, not in the way Aphrodite is. Aphrodite is beautiful in this way
I love
of...
that you mentioned that.
Okay.
Yes.
But I like how they do Aphrodite in the way of like a scandalous sense, because that's who she is. She is known for her sexuality, her beauty in that form.
Yes.
Which I think is very interesting, because Persephone was seen as just beautiful. Just a beautiful woman, even though she brings death, destruction, and all that.
Yes. Now, it's so interesting that you said Aphrodite and Persephone and almost compare and contrasted them.
Oh.
Because there is another myth with Persephone in it, which is very interesting in my opinion. Do you guys know of Adonis?
I've heard of
Adonis?
Adonis. Yes, I've heard of it.
Adonis is very much so like Persephone's kind of tale that she's went through. But in this myth, both Aphrodite and Persephone fell in love with the same mortal, which was a very, very, very handsome man called Adonis.
Okay.
Yes.
I've heard this story, but I never made the connection that this is this Persephone.
Yes.
It's crazy knowing the backstories.
I know.
Yeah.
You would never think that Persephone would... I mean, I guess all the Greek gods kind of go after someone else, but I never even thought about, maybe she would be interested in other mortals or something like that.
Yeah, especially because you've tied her now to Hades.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, neither of them could decide who deserved him more. They both were having it out with each other. They were like, okay, I love him more than you do, so I obviously deserve him.
Okay.
And, Aphrodite's all about where I'm the prettiest, so I deserve him more.
Fair enough. I can see that from her. Yeah.
So, Zeus divided his time between the upper world and the underworld. So Adonis did exactly like Persephone has to do. He would spend half of his time in the upper world with Athena and the other half in the underworld with Persephone.
But, that makes no sense to me.
I know. Zeus is so weird. He makes up these crazy compromises that really make no sense when he could have just said, okay, you take him and be done with it.
I was gonna say, I feel like he saw that whole thing with the 6 and 6 thing, and then he stuck to it for a little bit.
Yeah.
You know how you find a new word and you say it a bunch? I feel like that's his new ruling. He was like, that's genius. And then he was like, 6 and 6, 6 and 6, 6 and 6. You get him half.
Yeah.
I feel like this is his new way of, if you love him, you get him for 6 months. That doesn't make sense, though. If she's already in the underworld with Hades, who is her husband, I want to say. All right, so her confirmed husband, Adonis, is just chilling when she's down there with him.
He's just there, having a good time, I guess. I don't know.
What?
Yeah.
This ain't adding up.
That's weird.
This ain't. If it would make more sense to me if he spent the 6 months that she was on Earth, because not only could she be with Demeter, she could have also been with him.
But there is a part after this that is kind of weird, because Adonis loved Aphrodite more. So when the time came, he refused to go back to Persephone's kingdom.
Okay, fair, because her husband was there.
Yeah.
Makes sense, yeah.
So I don't even think he went to the underworld at all. I think he was only on the upper world. Like, he did his 6 months and then thought, nope, not going down. Nope, don't want to do it.
Okay, yeah.
You know, the goddess of the underworld, she was hurt, angered, and again, her name stands for bringer of destruction. So you want to know what she did to him?
Destruction.
Oh, she destroyed him. She sent a wild boar to kill Adonis.
Dang, she sent a boar?
Yeah.
Oh!
And, I honestly feel like this is not no regular wild boar. I feel like she sent one from the underworld that's like 6 feet tall and just sent him after him.
Ooh.
That's what I imagine. Giant horns. He's got steam coming out of his nose.
Yeah, I
maybe even
like
like a bull ring. Who knows?
Very nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Killed Adonis, and Adonis died in Aphrodite's arms and was transformed into a flower.
I was making sure. Whenever I thought of Adonis, I was like, didn't he go to a flower?
Yes.
But I didn't realize, I did not know this much about the story. I've always heard he was fought over by 2 women and everything, and at the end, he had to choose one. He chose one. He ended up dying in her arms and becoming a flower, which is stupid. But I did not know there was this much to the story. And I don't understand. He made his choice. If you were the man, right, and you're like, oh, I love these 2 women, and then your choices were stay on Earth and hang out with Aphrodite, or go down below, hang out with Persephone and her husband in the underworld.
Yeah, what are you gonna choose?
Your options are very clear, in my opinion. I don't know what they expected.
I honestly don't. If I was a mortal man, I would know better and be like, okay, I'm not getting involved with any goddess. Obviously, I'm going to die here at some point.
Yeah. I can't think of any mortal that just lives with him.
But she got him good. But I think, you know how you've heard of it, but you never knew it was Persephone? I wonder if people covered it up on purpose.
Maybe. I think she has this... The way I think of Persephone is she has these 2 sides. You think of one side, but she truly does have another you don't talk about or you don't think about. I love it. I love that a lot. I like this story.
She is an absolute queen in her own right. She fought for that position, and we all stand Persephone.
She earned her position, yeah.
Thank you all so much for listening to this week's episode. My source was GreekMythology.com. Persephone is such an amazing goddess. She's one of my favorite, and it has been so much fun for me to talk about her this episode.
Thank you for telling us about it. I thought she was really, really cool.
Yes, get it, queen.
And if you enjoyed this episode and any of our other ones, we want you guys to follow us on our social media. We have Instagram and Facebook. They are linked in the description. If you could give us a follow, you can also kind of take guesses as to what our new episodes will be. I know this week I've been doing guessing where I give some hints, but typically I just go on ahead and tell you what we're talking about. I'm not that creative, but it is very fun to see and have a sneak peek of what we're doing.
Oh, yeah. And also, if you've enjoyed these episodes these past few months, make sure you give us a 5-star review.
Thanks so much for listening, and we'll see you next time when we
Dig deeper.